Suno AI, you're probably thinking is a huge threat to the music industry, but I'm about to show you the way that I've been using this for the last year to game change the experience of me in creating and writing and recording music. This tool for me is like having this huge, incredibly talented songwriter in the palm of my hands that I can tap into to validate ideas, help me re-record sections in, and help me create better music that I can release and be proud of. So let's go and show you my way of using Suno. Now, most people use Suno by typing in a text prompt, creating the idea, and then just releasing it. Lots of AI artists are doing that right now and making millions of streams and listeners from doing so. My way of doing it is the in-between method, the hybrid method, where we can use my already skill set in playing instruments, Suno's ability to have full context of all music ever recorded, and combine and fuse the two things together to create a great song. Now, in this case here, I'm going to record some really nice piano chords in, which I've got here, and I'm going to actually just play these in. But again, if you're not talented on piano and you can just play a melody, do that. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter what recording you put into it. I'll show you what it can do after. Let's give you an example of this. Now, I messed up on there intentionally just to prove the point that it can do this. If I now go ahead and highlight this section here and say, I want to use this as part of my recording, again, doesn't matter about any mistakes to prove the point. I'm now just going to add that in and export that as it is. I'll now go over to Suno and I'm going to ask it to create an isolated guitar sound for this for me. Now, it won't do a very good job at just creating the guitar on its own. So what we can do is we can just say to it, let's create an isolated guitar and then we'll actually stem split it later. And that literally means that we're going to take the recording and just select the guitar sound out of that recording and put it back into the project. Now, you're probably thinking, why would you want to do this? Well, this gives you the best hybrid approach from creating music, writing music, recording music, and having this incredible songwriting partner like Suno to help fuse the ideas together. So now we're not just using Suno to create all the ideas and that's it. I can now use Suno to help me write and validate better ideas that I take back into my recordings and use for a commercial track. Now let's show you this example. Here's my piano recording, which isn't the best record. It's quite loud, but I've now gone ahead and said I want no lyrics. It's just an instrumental. And I wanted to use an isolated jazz guitar sound. And the really key point here is to go down to advanced options and adjust the audio influence to be 100% and style influence to be 100% as well. Now we'll go to create and it's going to listen to that guitar patch and work out how could it interpret those chords exactly as I've asked them to be played, exactly the style I've asked it to be created, and fuse the things together and then create something which you'll just be mind blown with if it's your first time hearing this. Let's go ahead and listen to it. Brilliant. Let's listen to the other example. So it's filling these gaps here, which again creates more ideas for me. I didn't think those ideas when I was playing the chords in. I just thought, oh, maybe I'll just play these four chords, which were a C major 7, D flat major 7, B flat minor, and an F sharp major 7. Like that's the idea as I thought of, but this has now created an even better idea. So I can then take this recording, which I've got here, go to the three dots and go to get stems and MIDI. Now I can extract these stems and say to Suno, can you detect all existing stems in that song? So that's the guitar, the bass, the piano, and so forth. Once it's done this, I really recommend you stick it to the WAV tempo locked version. And just so you know, you can actually just take the MIDI files and put those into your own VST sounds. But for me, I know there's not a VST out there at the moment that can truly replicate a jazz guitar. So while it lets Suno do this part, I take it back in and record some layers on top. Now, I do understand this requires a lot of technical skill to be able to be at a point to play an instrument like this, but you have a advantage, which means that if you're using Suno, give it responsibility, where you can ask it to create certain instruments and certain recordings that you simply can't do. So now I'll go ahead and download all of these recordings in here. And just once that's downloading, just so you know over here, you can actually solo these different stems and just actually extract the stem you need rather than downloading all of them on here. It gives you 2 variations, but it's recorded them up here. So now I open that file, which I've got over here, and I'll go back into Logic. I'm going to delete all of these off, and I shall delete these as well. And then once we've done that, let's go ahead and drag these stems in. Now, the really key bit is here is I don't want to take all the stems. I'm just going to take the bass and the guitar. I'll drag these in just like that. And we'll press OK. And then once we've got this now, it's going to convert these over because I was on a different sample rate. And then now on here, what we've got is these 2 recordings. Now, to be honest with you, Suno's getting better week on week with isolating these instruments. Just a year ago, this would have sounded awful. You would have heard spiel of other instruments laid on top, but this is just unbelievable. So now I've got this amazing guitar sound and bass. Now, I'm going to leave the bass in for the moment, but I may decide to re-record that bit in myself. So here, I wanted to record the drums in. I've got this new drum library from Addictive Drums called Hip Hop and Gospel, which is amazing. And this sounds really realistic. So now I can go ahead and finger drum the recording in with the bass, with the guitar at the same time and get a rough idea of what I want to record. Okay, it's quite complicated, but we've increased the weirdness control to do that because I wanted a nice complicated neo soul jazz guitar sound. So I can now decide, right, what instruments would work well on this. So what I do in this context is really powerful. Now, I might not know what to add to this. Let's say, for example, I'm a complete beginner. I'm going to go ahead and export this entire thing. Just go over to here, select all of these in, go to Command and B, and I'm going to just take this recording and I'm going to call it Piano Idea. And I've got on here, I'm going to go over to this custom bot that I've created for everyone inside my mentorship, which is called Lab AI. Now, Lab AI will allow you to be able to take this entire recording, go ahead and break it down for me and tell me what instruments it thinks I should add on top. So I'm going to go ahead and take this idea in here. It's then listen to the idea, and I can just say to this, I can't think of other instruments to add inside of Logic Pro X for this song. Can you tell me what instruments I should add? And also, I own Omnisphere Keyscape, and also Trillion. So tell me the patches you think I should use for this. So without put a few spelling mistakes there, type in 1,000,000 miles per hour. If I now go ahead and hit submit, it's going to listen to the song, analyze it, and work out what additional instruments I should be adding into my song. So there you go. It's broken down. It's listened to it in seconds. It's looked at this guitar sound, which sounds nice. It's got drums in there as well. And you can see on here, again, it's had to listen to the entire song in seconds. It's working all these other ideas, and it should have broken down for me. Yep. Here we are, Trillions, a full range acoustic upright. On here, it said about adding the C7 softest piano patch, Omnisphere. It's actually mentioned this patch, and then it's got the vintage clav as well. So I can now go ahead and just take this idea. So I could say, right, I've got my LA Custom C7. Back over to Logic, I'll go into my Keyscape library and find that patch, which is here. And then I could say to this, right, I'm going to record these bits in. But again, if you didn't have this, it's not a problem. You can go ahead and say, let's use a different context of a different instrument. The instrument hasn't got to be perfect. I mean, imagine this, right? This patch here, I really like. I know it sounds amazing, but I might not have that patch. So I can go in Suno and say, create me a piano patch that works over the top of this song. There's just different avenues you can go down to make this track your own without asking Suno or AI to do all of it for you. Get the idea. Like just in the example there, you can see you can record some bits at the top, but I could then go back into Lab AI and say, all right, okay, it also mentioned to me about adding some upright bass, so we could change that up if we wanted to. It's mentioned about adding an Omnisphere patch, so I could go over to here, copy and paste this guitar and sound into here, go to a new instrument, go to Omnisphere, and now you're just using the power of AI to help you almost like validate what you're creating is actually the right thing. So again, if you don't know the sounds, a while ago, I would have had to sit there all day and procrastinated on what sounds to choose. Now I can go into Omnisphere, I can search for that sound on here, and it will then find that patch for me, exactly what I'm looking for just there. And now if I go ahead and play it, it's got my string sound on there. I can now decide and go back to Lab AI and see, right, it said add some granular strings on top. So let's reduce the volume. You can start to come up with some ideas. Like again, you go through it a few times and figure out, right, where are the gaps I could start playing. It's all about laying everything up on top of each other. But in this context here, you can see now, once I've got the idea, if I was happy with that idea, I then could say to Suno, highlight all of this and write some vocals over it. So there's my piano idea that I've got. I'll go back over to Suno on here, and I can say to Suno, let's create an entire recording over the top. So now I've collaborated with Suno on this front. I've now got my recording here. I'll go to hit save. upload it, and now instead of lyrics being like this, I could say let's write a full song. So I'm going to say to this on here, write a song about walking down the road and seeing someone you know, just as an idea. So it would go ahead, write the lyrics. Again, if you're a lyricist, you just write the lyrics. I'm not a lyricist, so I don't need to. In here, you can see it's created our verse, and I can just add all of this in, and I can now say, let's improve this. I press onto here, and this now will completely rewrite what I've actually written on here. It's then mentioned some bits as well. It's got the lyrics in here. And now down in advanced options, I can say I want to have a male singer, and I'm going to leave the weirdness to be like 50%. And I'm actually going to give this a bit more leeway. I'm going to put these down a little bit because I don't want it to follow exactly what I've recorded in. So now, go ahead and press create. It listens to the entire record again and thinks of some new lyrics to be added on top of my recording. It's got the vocal there ready to go. And in a few seconds, it will create a vocal I can then drag back into Logic to use for later. So I'm going to start singing in a second. Where's my vocals?
Take a walk down the road. If you see someone you know, keep your head down and just keep on going. Just keep on going. Just take a walk down the road, and if you see someone you know, keep your head down and just keep on going. Just keep on going.
There you go. So you can see there the power of like collaborating with Suno. This really is going to be the future of creating music, because now I'm collaborating with a songwriting partner. Maybe I've got someone else in the room and they're thinking of ideas. Now you've got two ideas, two people helping you generate new ideas in Suno. And again, if you're not too sure what to write in here, what are the right instruments, go ahead and use Lab AI to help you understand in here full context of what's being played and then what it suggests that we add next. These two combined inside of Creators Lab are game changing and mean that you can create and write music 10 times faster with ideas that you actually wanted to create rather than ideas that you were a bit skeptical about in the first place. Now, anyone got any questions on a Creators Lab membership, head over to creators-lab.com and you'll see now we have two membership plans which you can have a look at and apply to work in. But yeah, it's a great platform, means you give access to all of these incredible tools, and I can't wait to see you in the next video and we'll go through and show you how to do more and more tips into Logic.